Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Yalek, and this is my second remade video of the day. I made this video earlier and didn't felt like I hadn't covered my topics well enough, and so I deleted it. I'm going to do it again. This is also my second rant of the day because I just did a War Factory rant. Not a rant about War Factory, a rant while doing War Factory. I did the War Factory video this morning and didn't like that one either, so I'm on a roll today. However, here I have two hits I'm going to show you. That was an intel drop. I'm trying to find the first one. Is this the guy? Second one, no. The second one is saved in chat. I probably should have saved this one in chat also. So many Chinese characters, it makes it really hard to not you. 5 ice base, no shield. I don't get it. We're going to talk about ice in a second though. So not you. Was it this guy? No. Wait. Drive Master? Might have been this guy. Yeah, okay, finally. So, this is going to be a warrior hit. It's unboosted. Both of these hits are unboosted. And I had considered just barding out this guy's shield generator, which is possible because it's only at about 47,000 health, and that is because this guy has only 2 ice statues, and that's what we're actually here to talk about. So this guy is a 2 and 0, 2 statues, no boost. The next guy is 4 and 2, 4 statues, 2 boosting, obviously the masterpieces, and both of them have shields. This one is by far the easier of the 2. I'm going to explain in advance what's happening because I'll actually be talking about something else. This is by far the easier of the 2. He makes it easy by having his mines arranged. So I always say, don't do this with your mines, putting them all up front like this. No, you need to spread them around and hide them. That's actually the difference between these 2 hits. The second one was, it took me 4 tries to get it right, but I knew it was possible with this GBE tribe, but it was just barely possible. And on a 4-2 shield base, I was trying to prove a point, but I had to get the GBE right because he had his mines spread around all over the place. He was smart with them, not like this. This is very easy to contain, very easy to deal with mines like this. So, and that's really the only difference between the 2 bases. I'm just gonna let this run. Because, so what I'm actually going to talk about here, you can watch the hits, they're pretty good hits, but I'm going to talk about the ice, because I've recently been in a discussion on the internets about why people keep ice, and to be honest, I don't think a lot of people even know why they keep ice. They just think they should. It's there, and they think it's doing, I think they think it's doing a lot more than it actually does. This guy with his 2 ice, this is one of the dumber things if you're going to have ice, it blows my mind. I'm speechless, as you can tell. If you're going to have ice, don't have 2. You should have 0 ice, or you should have about 5 ice, but you should never just have 2 ice. I don't get it. And, you know, because it's not actually stopping good players from doing, well, this. I mean, you know, the ice was a complete non-factor here. The first idea on this base, honestly, as I said, was just BART out the shield gen, because he's given me a bunch of free GBE over there, and since it's relatively low health, I can take advantage of that in the GBE tribe and just, you know, it would have been a more straight up approach. But I thought this was more fun, so I wanted to do things this way. You know, I did it my way, that kind of thing. Same with the next guy. I just wanted to prove a point, and I wanted to leave these guys with a pretty sick replay that they are not going to see. Well, the second guy did see it coming, because that was the same guy who moved his mines on me a day or so ago. Must have been yesterday. And he also got to see the 3 the 3 fails. So he did see it coming, but he still couldn't stop it, even with his 4-2. And that guy that was got him on the first try, and he is probably not going to have seen that coming. The ice is not important at all for either of these hits. This guy is 4-2, and the base is going to go down. It goes in the matter of one taunt. That's all I had, because these mines are spread everywhere. So the real problem with this base was getting the right GBE formula to maximize the removal of mines, but also leave me with as much as possible to get back here and then over to here with the necessary distractions and med kits and things like that. But at that point, even with the ice, you get to the HQ, it takes one round of taunt. It took one round of taunt on the last guy, it takes one round of taunt on this guy. The only difference between these two bases, this guy with his 4 ice and the last guy with his 2, is that it takes 2 swings for me to kill this shield generator, as opposed to 1 for the other one. I think my warriors do unboosted like 55,000k-ish damage. I'd have to check that. I haven't looked at a calc in a long time, and I, of all people, should probably know that off the top of my head. I know. But the ice is doing nothing for you. And so it was then argued that it's not stopping people from beating your base. Okay, that was admitted. But it was then argued that people need ice to get intel. Well, I pull 200 intel a week without any ice, so I feel like that's sufficient. That should be enough for just about anybody. And I mean, anybody sub my level. If you're at the 1500, you're going to get a lot more, because you're going to get attacked a lot more. You show up on more people's maps. Love the smokes on this. The smokes had to be just right. Third fail on this base was just because the smoking was a little bit off back here. Left a tiny bit of a gap on purpose because I needed to get there, but then my troops took too much damage, and I hit some of the mines that I had left, and my troops got, vaporized. Yeah, I mean, 200 intel a week is plenty. And anyway, you want intel for operations, right? That's what you use intel for. So if you want intel for operations, then what you don't want for operations is ice. Just enough for the 2 shocks, no more. So I had to take that flamethrower there. Didn't even have enough for a med kit. Didn't have enough for a second round of taunt. Didn't need it. Boom. That's what your ice gets you, which is straight up nothing. You need intel for operations, but ice is an impediment for operations. The more offense, the better. And honestly, if you're doing operations were literally designed for Zuka. So you should be trying to use Zuka as much as possible. So honestly, this troop health, I don't have that for operations. I have that for my PvP because I care about both. So you want to be as offensive a player as possible. So it said, well, the guy who was making that point said he's not in a serious task force. They're running Tinderbox. I'm like, okay, well, I guess, but that's a very casual approach, and that's fine. You can be a casual player. I'm not judging that, but if you're serious enough about the game that you're on the internet arguing, this point with me, then I feel like you should recognize that your ice is really not helping. It's going to get you a little bit more intel, and that's mainly because there are as many bad players out there as there are bad base designs. I have a whole boom fail series showing up bad base designs. Neither of those bases that I just showed you was necessarily a bad design. The first guy didn't have great minds, but there are tons and tons of bad players out there, and there are plenty of bad attacks. Once in a while I do one myself. Like my first attempt at doing a War Factory video today. Was not pretty. But you're not stopping good players from beating you. And really, so you're going to get a little extra intel. Maybe you really, really like watching replays against your base. I don't know. I can't imagine that ice is much fun otherwise, because the ice only functions when you close out the game. The ice does nothing for you while you're actually playing, It's only when you're absent that people can attack you, and that's when ice does its work. So, you know, if you enjoy being able to do less stuff in the game, then by all means, have ice. The only exception I will make, like I said, if you're going to have ice, you should have a bunch of it, like loads. The only exception to that rule I will make, I think if you wanted to do a push, if you wanted to be the kind of player who's going out there and trying deliberately to beat people with only 3 or 4 offensive statues or 5 offensive statues, if you just like the challenge, then go for it. That I understand. But if you think the ice, if you're just keeping it because you think you should, because you think it's helping you, you know, ward off raids, and it's really not. It's really, really not. So drop your ice. I've made this video before, and I'm begging you again. I don't see any point. Feel free to argue, disagree in the comments. I'm always happy to respond. Maybe there are other cases that I haven't considered, but I don't see the need for it for Intel. With this base design, I get pretty close to 200 every single week with my regular attacks and stuff, and no ice. I don't see, obviously there's no need for ice in operations. It doesn't help you enjoy the game when you're actually playing the game, and I just think it's a waste. If you feel differently, let me know, but that's my opinion. Not trying to piss anybody off, just my opinion. Anyway, thanks for listening. Have a great day, and I will catch you guys later.